Hello, everyone. My name is Pia Nelson. I am a junior at the University of Central Florida. I'm majoring in computer engineering and minoring in psychology. And I am here today as one of the diversity and tech ambassadors for this event, Microsoft Ignite. And I am here to present Sonia Cuff. So Sonia is a senior cloud ops advocate on the Azure engineering team. She has over 20 years of experience in IT, and she is passionate about the topics of mental health and the importance of fighting career burnout. So without further ado, Sonia Cuff.
Well done. You're awesome. I could feel the goosebumps march up my arms. The chill of the data centre was familiar, but I hadn't expected to be there that day. If I had, I would have brought a jacket. But as I stood there with the false floor springing under my feet and the slow, low, droning hum of the server fans, I was aware of a couple of male voices talking to me, telling me about the upcoming changes to the servers that weekend and what was moving where. I was aware of their voices, but I wasn't really listening to what they were saying. And the reason is all I could think of in my head was, I'm not going to be there this weekend. I'm not going to have to worry about this change. It's going to be somebody else's problem. You see, that morning I had already planned my escape. While I was getting ready for work, I packed my passport into my handbag so I would have it with me. And my plan was to go to work, fulfill a few commitments that I had, and then get into a taxi and go to the airport and buy a one-way ticket on the next international flight, without having arranged a visa, without having told my workplace, and without having told my husband. So, yeah, I was doing the slides. So before I go too much more into the story, what I want to clarify for a second is when I talk about burnout, I'm not talking about depression. Mental health and mental illnesses have a grand scale, and sometimes those issues we face are actually due to chemical imbalances in our brain that need medication. I'm not a mental health professional, and if you do need help, I strongly encourage you to go and seek advice, because there are some mental illnesses that you cannot therapy your way out of without proper medical advice and medication. So, I guess you're wondering how I ended up in this situation. See, past Sonia really loved her job. She was good at her job. In fact, she took pride in her work. She was hardworking. Her job was part of her identity. It was how she felt useful, and it was how she felt worthy. Past Sonia was relied upon by other people. She accepted tasks based on whether or not she was capable of doing them or not whether she had the capacity to take them on, because past Sonia hated letting anybody down. Past Sonia was on call. In fact, she had been part of an on-call roster in some shape or form for over the last 5 years of her career. And past Sonia supported mission-critical systems. So when the systems went down, it was part of Sonia's role to act fast and to get those systems back up and running again, because she knew the impact that it was having on her business. So you can almost say that past Sonia was the perfect employee. right? All of these things that I've talked about are things that we look for and we hope that we have in our IT operations staff. We want all of those qualities and those traits. And that describes, pretty much 99% of the IT operations folks that I know that do look after those critical systems, that are on call and that are a vital part of keeping our businesses running. But the thing with burnout is that burnout is a chronic stress. Now, in IT ops life, we live with outages sometimes. We have fires that we need to put out. We have projects that come up where we have a migration, or we need to work long weekends, or we need to work into the wee hours of the morning. It's just what we do. And we do it well. The problem is that exposure over a long period of time can start to build up to burnout. It's the match that starts with that little flame, and before you know it, you're a shell of a burnt out house. Maybe looking kind of okay on the outside, maybe looking a little bit ragged, but on the inside, I don't know if you've seen what a house looks like when it's been burnt out, but the inside is a pretty desperate looking shell. So maybe there's some other factors that contribute to this. Having a family, not having a family, general things of life also get onto our plates and can impact how we're feeling about work. So in this particular part of my life, I had gotten married, bought a house, changed jobs, gone to 3 funerals of friends that were all unexpected deaths, and all of these major life events had happened within 12 months. Bring that to work? Yeah. Another factor that can lead to burnout is being part of a rockstar team. Now, if I can tell you anything about being part of a rockstar team, it's the cloud ops advocates that I now am privileged to work with at Microsoft every day. These guys are amazing. These are the people that I've seen on stage. I fan them on Twitter. I follow their blogs. They are absolutely epic. And I'm proud to say that these are some of the people in my team, and they are the most supportive bunch of individuals I have ever met. But one of the challenges of being in a rockstar team is that they make this look so easy. I don't see their challenges. I don't see their struggles. I don't see the doubts that they have or the nerves that they have before they get on stage. And so when I'm feeling like that, when I'm doubting myself, when I'm feeling nervous or wondering if I really deserve to be here, it's hard to live up to an environment of being a rockstar team. Fortunately, we're a really good group at sharing how we're feeling, and we get pretty real with each other, which is great. Maybe you're not quite in a rockstar team, but you still just don't feel like you belong. Maybe the conversations that happen in your workplace with your teams are about things that you aren't interested in. Maybe you just feel like that fish out of water, where you don't feel like you're actually gelling in this team that you're in. Perhaps you're not getting supported in your workplace. Perhaps the decisions that you're making or the things that you're recommending never seem to get listened to or never seem to get actioned. And little things like that might not seem like a big deal, but I have a friend who uses the term that it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Again, it's that longer term exposure where you get to the point of feeling like, why do I even bother? What am I doing here? Now, I was going to brush over this next point: politics, cliques, and even sabotage. But I have had a number of conversations with people recently where this is a big deal. Someone who's about to leave their job because they're feeling undermined. Someone who is fighting their organisation to try and get them to change. Now, Microsoft is a technology company, are great at selling you the dream about the things that you should be doing and how you should be digitally transforming your world, which is awesome. There are some amazing opportunities out there for us to do great things with technology. Where burnout comes in is where you've got an organisation that doesn't get that. You might have people in your team who have been around a long time and are close to retirement and don't want to change the way they work. You might have levels of management above you that are quite happy to do things the way that they've always been done, can't see the need for change. Or you might have people in your organisation who have a personal preference for one technology or one brand over another. Regardless of how much you can throw the statistics and the facts and the cost benefits at them, it's not going to happen. Now, I wish I had a magic formula for how you change that in organisations. That's a whole sort of separate topic in itself. But what I do want to say is I want you to think about whether that's the right environment for you to stay in. Because there are some things in some organisations with cultures so toxic, you will burn yourself out trying to change them. Okay? Pick your battles, look after yourself, and understand when it might be time to move on. Maybe there's some inequality in the work tasks. Now, I don't necessarily mean that somebody is getting a lot more work than the other people in their team, but it could be little things like you're always getting the less desirable tasks. Or maybe you're always getting the really hard stuff. Or maybe they don't trust you with the hard stuff and you always only get the easy stuff and you don't get an opportunity to try the hard stuff. Again, little things that all add up. Perhaps you found out that someone in the team is earning a heck of a lot more than you. That'd suck, wouldn't it? And it's not necessarily salary. It might be that they're getting more time off, they're getting preferential treatment when it comes to getting leave approved, they're getting to work from home and you're not. All of these little things that come into inequality in our workplace. Or perhaps there is an unclear vision or direction in your team. You're not really sure where you're going with things. You might be on a treadmill where you feel like you're doing the same things over and over again and you're not really sure if it's making a difference, or the organisation itself just seems a little bit stuck. Now, I bet nobody in the room has battled with a lack of resources before, right? Okay, so whether that's you're not getting enough budget to do the things that you know need to be done, maybe the timeframes are too tight and you're constantly getting asked to do stuff in a timeframe where it's just not realistic. Or maybe you've had headcount reduced, or they're asking you to do something where you literally do not have enough people and they're saying just make it work. Again, there is no magic formula for stopping this in our industry permanently. I wish there was. Sometimes stuff happens. And working with CEOs in small and medium businesses, I understand it. Sometimes there isn't the budget. But again, the long-term impact, if you are always battling this with your organisation and you have been there for 5 or 10 years, it's going to wear you down. Perhaps the organisation's behaviour doesn't reflect their values. Now, this slide is the code of conduct that is displayed at the Microsoft Reactor spaces. So they're startup hubs and community spaces. We've got a few of them around the world. And I'm proud to say that every interaction I've had with Microsoft absolutely reflects what they say on the wall as their code of conduct. But if your organisation has put your values and your code of conduct up on a wall, put them in SharePoint, put them in a dusty binder somewhere on the shelf, and yet when they go and they make decisions, or they put in projects, or they make staffing decisions, they don't reflect what the company has said that it values. Or even worse, it doesn't reflect what you value. You're going to question whether that's the right environment for you to be in. So, what I'd like to do now is introduce you to the invisible hand raise. Now, I hate sitting in the audience when the speaker goes, raise your hand if. I don't know why. Like, nobody's sitting there judging me because I did or didn't put up my hand. It's just not my comfort zone. But the question I'm going to ask you might be a little bit awkward if you're sitting with your colleagues or your boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an invisible hand raise. When I ask you this question, I want you to mentally think that you are raising your hand and nobody else needs to see it, okay? So invisibly raise your hand if you can identify with one of the factors that I've talked about, whether it's factors that can lead to burnout for you or things that you've seen in your organisation. Go. It's an actual hand raisers too, the brave ones. I love it. Fantastic. Look, the reason that we do that as speakers is because it's proven that actually doing an action makes a better mental connection between what you've heard and what sticks in your memory. Okay, it's a bit of a learning trick. So, what did pass on you look like to other people? Why didn't anybody notice that this was going on in my life? Well, the thing is, we expect burnout to look like this. We expect it to look like somebody who obviously isn't coping and they've got the papers flying around their head and the world is just terrible, and burnout doesn't always look like that. Sometimes burnout looks like this. Burnout looks like the person who has plastered a smile on their face. Burnout can look like coping. Yeah? So, some of the other factors that I want you to look out for in your colleagues include a decrease in their performance. Maybe they've stopped showing up to meetings. Maybe they're missing deadlines, or maybe they're making more mistakes than usual. Some subtle little factors in there. Now, our brains are an amazing computer. They handle running this system of ours 24/7 with no outages. You know, nobody on call to come and fix it, except for our amazing doctors. But the thing is that our brains use 20% of the energy that we put into our bodies. And it's actually a greater number than that when you are focusing on listening to new information. So a little bit of a Microsoft Ignite tip. That's why at the end of the day, when all you've done is sit in conference rooms, not really being physically active apart from the 20,000 steps from your hotel to the one end of the conference room and the other. But that's why at the end of the day, in a situation like this at Microsoft Ignite, you feel physically exhausted. Okay, you haven't run a marathon, but this brain of yours has been taking in new information all day, and it has used up a ton of your energy reserves. So what happens when you're in a stressful situation is that there is this great little part of your brain. Now, it's kind of, if I can point it, it's kind of coming through here. It's called the hippocampus. So it sort of hides behind that brainstem there, and I'll come and do it over the other side of the stage so you can see it. The hippocampus is a really cool part of our brain. One of the things that it does, it kind of hides back in there, is it is responsible for making memories and taking short-term memories and committing them to being long-term memories as well. So it does quite a bit of that stuff. What happens when you're stressed is your body produces a chemical called cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. And what happens with cortisol is it is responsible for taking glucose, your energy resource, away from that hippocampus and sending it to your muscles. Because when we're stressed, we have this thing called fight or flight response. We're either going to put up a fight to defend ourselves, or we're going to get the heck out of there. And so our body knows it needs energy to do that, so it wants all the glucose in our muscles, not so much in our memory making. Longer term, when you're in burnout and you've got high levels of this, your adrenal glands get fatigued because they're producing this hormone more than they need to be. It also depletes the chemical neurotransmitters in your brain, so dopamine and serotonin, that are the grease in this machine that send messages around our brain. So those hormones get depleted, and the actual neuroreceptors in your brain get damaged as well. So literally, when we're stressed, we make really dumb decisions. Now you know that there's actually a chemical reason behind that. It might be that you've noticed that your colleagues are a little bit more irritable. Ooh, that one hit a nerve. Or they overreact a little more than usual. Or maybe they start to downplay their contribution. Maybe they get to a point where they're actually saying that it doesn't really matter. Again, watch out for what's not normal. It could be that they start withdrawing a little bit. Now, most people I know in IT, me included, at the end of the day when we're doing our work, we're actually introverts. We socialise when we need to, get up on stage when we need to as well, but we need to be away from people to recharge our energy levels. So when I'm talking about withdrawing, I'm not necessarily meaning go and look for the person who never comes to Friday night drinks. Okay? Some people just don't do that. It's not their thing, and we need to respect that. But it could be things like not engaging in the social chatter around the workplace, not engaging in the social chatter online if you're using any collaboration tools, not responding to group emails and giving their opinion. And again, I want you to look for those deltas. What was their normal behaviour? Have they gone quieter than usual? So how did past Sonia feel? What was going on in her world? Well, my world felt overcast. It felt dull and flat and grey. I didn't enjoy anything. It literally felt like I was living life in black and white. I had trouble switching off. I was always on edge. Even when I wasn't on call and I didn't have my phone with me on the weekends, for example, I could not stop my brain from racing. In fact, I even had an emotional reaction to my phone ringing. So if the phone rang or my emails dinged, my heart sank. Now, I don't know if any of you in the room have had children, but it's kind of similar to when you had that newborn baby and it's those first couple of weeks and you're just about asleep because it's the middle of the night and the baby cries. That's kind of how I was feeling towards my phone. Some people get tremors or shakes. They actually get a physical sign, which is due to that stress hormone usually. I didn't actually get that, but what I did get was I had a lot of trouble falling asleep, and I found it really hard to get out of bed in the morning. Even though I was exhausted, it was hard to switch off my brain to get to sleep, and it took an extraordinary amount of physical effort to put my feet on the floor and get ready for work and get out of the door in the morning. I hated it. Weekends weren't long enough to recover. 2 days? No way. What's happening here when you see these signs and symptoms is your body and your brain are literally shutting down to protect you from what you are doing to yourself. And it's actually been said that staying in a situation like that is a form of self-harm. And we need some help. So, once more, again, slightly awkward. So, I'd like you to invisibly raise your hand if you recognise any of those signs or symptoms in either you or one of your colleagues. Go. Thanks. So what do we do about it? How can you help yourself if you're feeling like that? I'm going to give you 3 easy steps, right? Write them down, tweet them, going to change your life. Let's go. Green smoothies, yoga and meditation on the beach, and a holiday, especially bonus points if you take your dog. No. The thing is, we get told that it's that easy. We get told if we get into mindfulness and we look after our nutrition, the world will be a beautiful place. Now, I'm not saying don't do these things. These things are important because usually when we're stressed and we're busy and we're tired and we're overworked, the first thing that happens is we don't eat well. Okay, look after your nutrition, get your rest, take your vacations. But these 3 things alone are not enough. We also say, just talk to someone. If you're feeling down, if the world's getting on top of you, just go and talk to someone, right? This glosses over how hard it is. Like, you can't just go and tell your boss that you hate your job. And if you can't talk to your boss, you're not about to go to HR and tell them either. Some stranger who's literally responsible for your paycheck. So what I want you to do is I want you to find your people. Now, if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan like I am, Christina and Meredith are each other's person. What that means is that they have each other's back. And these are some of the beautiful women that I have in my life that know me, that notice when I've gone quiet, that understand the busy times that I have in my life, and are more likely to reach out and ask me how I'm doing, probably before I've even noticed it myself. Find your people. Nurture those relationships. Build them deep. You don't need to go out and have a huge circle of friends. I don't have a huge circle of close friends. They definitely don't need to be your family. So go out and find your people. Now, work-life balance. Oh, the magical work-life balance. I do not have a slide with a formula with how to do that, sorry. What I will say about work-life balance is I want you to take a longer-term view. When they say we can have it all, they don't always mean we can have it all in the same week. So, understand and be okay that sometimes work is your priority and sometimes family is your priority. Focus where you are, be where you are. That photo is my 13-year-old daughter on a ride in Disneyland. Disneyland was a bit of a milestone for us because it was one of those things as a family in Australia we had said we always wanted to do. One day we'll take the kids to Disneyland. It took my husband suddenly ending up in hospital with a brain aneurysm and having an emergency craniotomy before we realised, hello, we might not have a Sunday. And maybe we should start doing some of those things that we've got on our Sunday list. So we booked some flights. No idea how we were going to pay for it, but we made it happen. And when we were at Disneyland, our family was a priority. There was no work. This week, a little bit different. Here at Microsoft Ignite, all week, very far from my family. They get a quick phone call once a day to check in. But be where you need to be and take a longer term view of that work-life balance. Schedule in your rest. We are so good at organising our work. We have our meetings and we have this deadline and we have everything and it's all mapped out and oh, here comes a fire. And, you know, and we handle it all because that's what we do. So get a little bit more disciplined with scheduling rest and other areas of your life. Put some exercise into your week. Put some family weekends into your months. Even if it's we're going to throw some food in the cooler and go out in the morning and we're not coming back until the sun sets. Okay? Because what I found is that if you don't put that stuff in your calendar, here's my commitment, next Saturday, family time, that's it. Stuff happens. Work happens. You end up sitting around home and mowing the lawns and doing all the things you do. Okay? Schedule that stuff in your calendar. Find some other interests, but shape them around your work commitments. So one of the things I do when I'm not sitting in front of a computer is I volunteer with our local state emergency services. And we do things like we go and search for missing people, we search for evidence, we help homeowners if there's a severe weather event and a storm comes through, we go and put a tarpaulin on their roof, all for free. Australia's a great country. And then we get to do cool things like this, hanging out at community events with stormtroopers. But the interesting thing about that interest for me, apart from the fact that it's totally, completely different from tech and sitting in front of a computer, is I have run this group of 70 volunteers in my area. I am one of their certified trainers, and we train every week. And when work gets busy, I step back. I've stepped down from the group leadership role. I've stepped down from how many training courses I teach. But it's there for me to get to when I have the time, the space, and the energy to have another connection and another interest outside of my tech world. And when work needs to be a priority, I don't have any guilt factor because I've got this amazing team that can do all the things without me anyway. So that's just one of my interests. Another thing that we're really good at doing in IT operations is benchmarking stuff. We like the data. If the server is performing sluggishly, we like to bring up Performance Monitor and we look at the dashboards and we see what's happening and we try something and we go back and check and see if it's made a difference because we knew what the baseline was. In Australia, there is a website called mycompass.org.au. It is a free website for anybody to use and register, and it is a mental health benchmarking tool. It's got online quizzes, it's got resources from mental health professionals, including online videos, and the great thing about it is that you can do these quizzes today and then do them next week and then do them next month and keep an eye on the changes. So if you're not kind of too good at figuring out how you're feeling from one day to the other, if you want to try one of the tactics to help prevent burnout and see if it makes a difference, tools like this are really good for us technology people who like things like benchmarking. I've also got a great colleague in my team who uses this as his email signature. So it says, my working hours may not be your working hours. Please do not feel obligated to reply outside of your normal schedule. That's Neil Peterson. I had the biggest smile when I first got my first email from Neil. So as you can tell, my accent's actually from New Zealand, but I live in Australia. And I work with this amazing global remote team. But what that means is that on a Saturday in Australia, which is when I have my weekend, it's Friday afternoon in the US, and all my colleagues are working. It also means that on a Monday morning, when I hit the office ready to ramp up a great week, they're all having their Sunday evening. So this kind of approach is respectful, especially in remote teams and teams that span time zones, to turn around and say, you know what, I'm not ever going to email you anything that you have to jump on this second. If I really need you for something that urgent, I will call you. And if my team is calling me at 2 a.m., there's something wrong because we don't do an IT operations role anymore, but I know that happens for people that are on call. But this is really great for that. Just because I've read an email, if it's not within my work hours, I don't need to jump on it. And my team's given me permission that that's okay. Let's talk about taming that digital attention seeker. Now, notifications. There is hardly anything on my phone that actually dings with a notification. In fact, most of the time my phone's on silent. I wear a Fitband that will notify me if there is a call or a text message, and that's the only notifications I've got set on my wrist when I wear it. But my phone doesn't ding when there's new emails, doesn't bring up a pop-up if somebody comments on something on Facebook. I will check that information when I want to check that information. I want to urge you to do the same with the unread badges. So that little notification that says how many unread messages that you've got in an app. And thank you to all the people on Twitter who tweeted to get my unread count up to at least 8 so I could show you something on the screen. So looking at the home screen there of my phone, I've got unread messages on Twitter because at the moment that's a very important part of my conversations with my communities. I have an unread badge on Teams because that's how I communicate with my team, and I want to know when they've said something new. But one thing you will notice is there is no unread badge on my Outlook icon. I do not know how many unread emails I've got. I call it Schrodinger's inbox. Like there's either new emails in there or there isn't, right? And I'm not going to know if there is or isn't until I actually go in there and check. And that came about because I woke up one Saturday morning, Friday night in the US, my unread badge on my inbox said 22. Now, I know that some of you have got like thousands, I don't want to see them, like I can't cope with the hundreds of unread message. Yeah, no, just don't. Does my head in. But I can't survive a weekend knowing that there are 22 unread emails in my inbox. Something is happening in the world. How am I supposed to relax and have my weekend knowing that that is sitting there, waiting? There could be something important in there. So now, I don't know. There might be emails in there, there might not be. It's my weekend. Nothing in my email is that important that I need to check it on a weekend. Heck, I might. Airplane mode. Airplane mode is my favourite thing. It is not just for airplanes. Airplane mode is another great conference tip. Airplane mode is really good when you are listening in a session, if you don't want to be distracted by browsing on your phone, and if you want to make your battery last longer. Because what it means is you can take your photos of the slides, you can take your notes in OneNote, keep your phone on airplane mode, and it saves your battery so that you don't end up recharging it after the second session of the day. But I also love airplane mode for when I don't want to be distracted. When I want some focus time, it stops the notifications I do have and it stops the unread badge climbing up as well. Use airplane mode all the time. And focus assist in Windows 10 as well. Now I want to issue to you a morning challenge. I'm not going to ask who looks at their phone before they've put their feet on the floor. I made a decision that I was going to allocate a marker in my morning when it was okay to check my messages and my social media on my phone, and for me, that's after I've had a shower. What that means is that my brain has time to wake up. It has time to do the rambly thought processing that we used to do when we were standing in a line because we didn't have a phone to look at, and it gives my brain some downtime. Hopefully it also means that I get to see my family and engage with them as well before I've looked at the people that want me on my phone. So, I don't know what your morning routine is like, but I encourage you to identify what your marker is going to be. When is the time or the event in your morning routine where you will pick up your phone and check all those messages? Hopefully sometime after you've got out of the bed. I also want you to start recording your successes, because when you're going through a rough patch, it's really hard to have no visibility of all that you've actually ever done anything good. So OneNote's a great example for that. Keep little notes when somebody says thank you, when you close a big support ticket, when you launch a good project. It's actually really good when it comes to performance review time because you've got all that evidence there, but that's not why I'm asking you to do it. I'm asking you to do it so that that becomes your pick-me-up file, so that you have that there to look through when times are rough. And you've got that cheer crowd to remind you that you are good and you have done some amazing things. Focus on what is unique and valuable about you, especially if you're feeling out of place in a team. Now remember, the life you have lived, the experiences that you have, and the stories that you have are completely unique. Nobody else in the world has lived your life. That means that you bring an important perspective to things. So remember and focus on what is unique about you. And I also want to add that recovering from burnout takes time. It takes time to get into burnout, and it takes time to get out of it. There's no overnight fix here. You might need long, dispersed chunks of time off. You might need frequent breaks. But if the thought of going completely cold turkey and walking away from the office for even a week just scares the heck out of you, talk to a colleague and see whether or not you can arrange a system where maybe once a day or maybe once every 2 days, they can call you and check in with you. And they can give you an update and go, it's been a rough couple of days in the office, we had this issue here, but we coped and we're fine and it's all good. Sometimes when you're suffering from burnout, you are so concerned about the effects of everything. You're holding on to everything and you don't want to drop the ball, that sometimes you just need the certainty of somebody saying to you and reassuring you as you are unplugged that it's okay, they've got this. And maybe talk about restructuring your work. Extend some time frames if you can, build in some buffers, reduce your availability, and be conscious of your capacity. So one of the things that I hear people say is, I'm in a toxic environment, I'm feeling really burnt out, but I can't leave my job. I've got to provide for my family. There's no way I could handle looking for a new job right now, let alone interviewing with somebody. Okay? You don't need to walk away from it completely. Talk to your organisation about how you can restructure things. And just be aware of rebound. Recovering from burnout isn't always a straight line, and it can come back even if you change jobs, even a couple of years down the track. So just watch out for that. So, how do we help others? If there are people in our team that we've noticed that, are struggling a little bit, to start with, you can be a good example. Stay home when you're sick. Don't check email on the weekends. Okay? Do the actions that show your team that it is okay to manage a workload. Be the defender. Push back on other unreasonable requests from your organisation. Speak up. Because there are other people on your team who might not have the strength to speak up. So it's important that we watch out for each other. Close feedback loops. And again, this was coming back to the point about people who suggest things and don't ever feel like anything happens. It's important that if somebody comes to you with a suggestion or an issue, that you do as much as you can to give them an answer. And that answer might not always be positive, but they deserve to hear that what they suggested was reviewed, taken into consideration, and was adopted, or this is why it wasn't adopted. That's going to encourage people to contribute more. We also need to value and promote different forms of contribution. So it's easy to hold up into high esteem the people that do the public speaking, or the team that's just shipped a whole bunch of new features, or just done a big migration project. Like, all of that stuff is important and cool. But we tend to undervalue collaboration, mentoring, and even things like preventative maintenance and really good documentation. So make sure that everybody in your team has an opportunity to get a pat on the back, and we're calling out the wins that don't seem quite as impressive. I'm also here to ask you to start stomping out superhero statements. If you hear somebody bragging, and I use the word bragging, if you hear somebody bragging that they worked all night and they didn't get any sleep, or they've done 85 hours this week, all the things that we say because we're busy, I want you to turn around and go, oh my gosh, that's terrible. How can we stop that from ever happening again? Because we need to start realizing that burnout is not a badge of honor, but it's not a badge of shame either. I want you to call out people in private. I want you to have the hard conversation with your colleagues. But don't just ask if they're okay. So for example, if I've noticed that my colleague Pierre is having a bit of a rough time, I'm going to ask him the tough questions. Pierre, I've noticed that you're not quite yourself lately. Can we talk?
Yeah, we can. So much for calling me in private.
Yeah, in private. In front of just a few questions. Is your mic on?
I don't know.
That's better.
Is it now?
Yeah. So tell me, Pierre, what specifically happened last week?
Well, I missed the Ignite planning meeting because I was having a biopsy.
Oh my gosh. And how are you feeling?
A little sensitive.
Yeah, I can imagine. So we've got a big week coming up next week, and I don't know when you're going to get your results. How are you feeling about next week?
Stressed, unsure, a little doubtful,
Yeah, okay.
but try to plow through.
Yeah, and that's what we do, right? So Pierre, I just want to let you know that the team are here for you. If there's anything that we can do to help if Ignite's getting a little bit too much for you and you need someone just to come and sit with you in a quiet place or whatever, we've got you. We're here for you, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks. And what I'll do now is I will make sure that I keep an extra eye on him and I check in with him later, okay? It's not enough just to go up to a colleague and ask, are you okay? Because if someone asks you, are you okay, we usually go, yeah, I'm fine. These are some good questions. Another thing that we tend to do with people who are struggling is we parent them. And what I mean by that is we take the bad thing away. Because that's what we do with our kids. We hate to see them struggling and we hate to see them impacted by stuff that's nasty, and we just want to take it away and make it all better. And so we tend to do that with people who are burnt out. We want to take the bad thing away from them. So there's a technique to ask somebody what matters the most to them in this situation. Is it meaning, belonging, security, freedom, or significance? And there's an interesting story about a manager who had an employee who was suffering from burnout. So he did what most good managers would do. He started reducing her workload. He took her off the hard projects and he tried to help her. Now he was putting himself into her shoes and he was doing what he thought was the right thing and what he thought was needed. Don't ever try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You're not them. And so what transpired was they had a conversation like this where he said, what matters the most to you right now? And she said, I don't feel like I contribute anything of value. I don't feel like I'm important to this team. And whenever I come and talk to you, you take away all the challenges and the hard stuff. So I'm left with the stuff that's just like boring and easy, which is really not making me feel any better. So what they did instead was they came up with a plan and she started getting some of the more difficult work and some of the challenging projects. And she shone. She loved it. She got to stretch her wings, learn some new stuff, and prove her worth and feel like she was useful to the organization. That doesn't happen when you just take workload off people. So now I want to see some hands. And the reason I want to see some hands is because I want everybody in the room to see if you are willing to commit to implementing one of these burnout strategies to either help yourself or to help your colleagues. Go. You're so awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's wrap up. What's safe past, Sonia? How do you go from thinking it's okay to grab a flight on a plane and not tell your family and not having organised things like visas to being a Microsoft employee standing on a Microsoft Ignite stage? For me, recovery started with one very important step. You see, after that meeting in the data centre, I went in and found a meeting room where nobody else was. And I walked in and I closed the door and I sat down and I picked up my phone and I called my husband. And I said to him, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to stop and you need to come and pick me up and you need to take me home. Thank you. Okay, we do have some time for questions. Now, as I said, I'm not a mental health professional, but if anybody has any questions, we have microphones on stands. You're welcome to come and line up and ask a question at one of the mics.
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
Curious if you can share, and I don't know if Microsoft does this, but within the firm, or if anybody has any suggestions, how do they address mental health awareness? Because, as people know, I could have cancer, or my arm could, it's not going to fall off, but I could break my arm, and that's something people can relate to, but mental health still has a stigma. So I'm just curious what Microsoft does
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
encourage people to talk about that.
So there's a couple of things that we do internally at Microsoft. One of them is we have very public conversations from senior management levels all the way down about the importance of mental health. So I'm part of the Microsoft Australia, some of their distribution lists over there, and there's some really good conversations coming out from our managing director specifically about this topic. The other thing that we do is we heavily promote a program that supports not only our employees, but our contractors as well. So, for example, in our bathrooms, on the back of the toilet door, there are posters for a phone number that you can call for a confidential service if you just want to talk to somebody as well. So yeah, there are a few things that we do like that, but we very much are an organisation that is interested in bringing the conversation out in the open so that people understand that we care about it. Yeah, great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. So basically, I'm in a situation where my home environment isn't great, and I'm really working my butt off, trying to learn stuff and do good in school and have a job so I can pay my own bills and not rely on other people, but rely on them as little as possible. But I'm really, I guess, stressing myself out about doing enough to get out of my house as soon as possible because it's really not healthy. And I've been dealing with burnout because of that. And I guess, what advice do you have when you feel like you have to work a lot to you're in a situation where you have to work a lot to not working is feeling like you're putting yourself in danger in a sense, or
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. So a couple of things. I'd encourage you, if you have good relationships in your workplace, to talk to a colleague or a manager about what's going on at home. And if that's not the case, I want to encourage you to build some relationships with some good people. Find your people and make sure that you've always got somebody who, at the absolute worst case, you know that you can pick up the phone and they will be there to listen to you or to come and rescue you if you need it. Okay?
Thank you.
You're allowed. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of Ignite.